While we have all been distracted by Donald Trump for the last few months, whether it's what he says on Twitter, whether it's what he does with his executive orders, or whether it's what's happening with his campaign or administration, who's getting in trouble that week, he has been a great distraction for the Republican Party. In just the last week, as the Trump administration was melting down over Jeff Sessions' potential perjury claims, House Republicans introduced 8 different pieces of legislation to scale back your rights and scale back our overall democracy. Here's what that legislation included. H.R. 861 to terminate the EPA, H.R. 610, which would use our tax dollars to fund private schools and religious schools, H.R. 899 to terminate the Department of Education, HJR 69 to repeal a wildlife protection rule, HR 370 to repeal the Affordable Care Act, HR 354 to defund Planned Parenthood, HR 785, the National Right to Work legislation, which would make it virtually impossible for unions to survive in the United States, which would be horrible for American workers, HR 83, Mobilizing Against Sanctuary Cities Act, and HR 147 to criminalize abortion. Now, out of those 9 items, think about how many of those are actually stripping away your very rights. Criminalizing abortion, national right to work legislation, which would effectively prevent you from being able to join a labor union that's going to fight for your pay and your benefits and things like that. Repealing or terminating the EPA and the Department of Education. So Republicans don't care about the environment and they don't care about schools, except for the private schools that are now going to get your tax dollars. So these wealthy kids from well-to-do families who don't need any help are now going to get even more money, while our kids in public school no longer have a Department of Education, aren't going to have standardized textbooks, things like that, can't afford to do anything with them once they're starved of that tax money that's now going to the wealthy kids' private schools. This is what happens when you have an idiot like Donald Trump as the president who keeps distracting the press from what's actually happening in this country. Now, Donald Trump did some horrible things last week. His administration got in a lot of trouble, and those are things that absolutely have to be discussed. But as we do that, we cannot forget that we have Republican majorities in the House and the Senate that are still trying to strip away our rights and benefits as American citizens. They're trying to strip away our right to a clean environment, strip away the rights of our children to a quality education, strip away our right to health care by repealing the Affordable Care Act, strip away your right to choose what to do with your own body by criminalizing abortion. This is insanity, and this is fascism at its finest. That is what Republicans in the House of Representatives want to do, and it's what they're currently doing. Donald Trump could very likely end up impeached or somehow removed from office. Mike Pence, same thing. But these Republicans in the House of Representatives are still going to be there because this is what they believe. This is what they want to do. These are things that they campaigned on. And yeah, the public's getting pissed off, but there's not much we can do until 2018. We can take to the streets, but we can't change the way that they vote. We can't change the legislation that they're currently writing. All we can do is sit around and wait and vote these idiots out of office before they strip away every last good thing about our American democracy.